Hey, what's going on with you? It's your boy Big MC. I'm coming at you today, not a hip hop breakdown. I just got a piece of mail that really angered me, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I mean, it's got me fuming, and I don't know how to express my discontent other than just to try and talk about it. And it's something that's a hot button issue for me. So I've got this like survey thing from the Heritage Foundation about border security bill, which I guess the Heritage Foundation is some type of conservative, you know, lobbying group. I don't even know exactly. Um, but I mean, immigration is a huge. It just is something that's really triggering for me. Um, and so I just wanted to try and calm myself down and talk about this and go through this piece of propaganda and, just kind of use it as a teaching moment and try and like calm my head because it's so infuriating. So I'll go through it and tell you exactly why every piece of this is garbage. So here's question one. President Trump has spelled out the immigration crisis America faces. We've defended borders of other nations while leaving our own borders wide open for anyone to cross. Do you think, and so that's the quote, and then it says, do you think America's border security has been neglected for too long? So first of all, that's a false statement. It's not like our borders are open. Logistically, it's really just difficult to, you know, secure the entire border. Not only that, it's difficult to become an American citizen if you're someone of color. And I know this for a fact. Okay? This is no lie. Like, I have a really good friend, and I'm not going to name names, but he's a really good friend of mine. He's originally from England. And he came over just, on a trip and ended up staying and, outstayed his visa. And he, eventually got married, to an American citizen and this and that. But I mean, there was no repercussions for him for, having not really gone about the process of immigration legally. And it's because he was white and he spoke English. That's just how it is. This is not about, oh, the borders are secure. I mean, it's about race issues. So, and I mean, I know that for a fact. And I mean, no disrespect to my boy, because I mean, he's one of my homies. But I mean, that's just how it is. So, first of all, there's just like false news in that quote, and I have experience with the fact that there's actually like it's just racially based. All right, so the next one, the U.S. illegal immigrant population has officially reached 14.3 million, with an estimated 375,000 living in Georgia. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia, if you don't know. And many experts they fear, they don't know, they fear that the actual number of illegal immigrants is much higher. Do you believe illegal immigration has negatively impacted your state? No, I don't believe that at all. You know why? Because basically every single person who studies economics who, isn't a complete bigot and knows something and just uses their logic will tell you that immigration is a net benefit for our economy. Sure, some of these people that come in, and then when I say these people, I'm sorry, that's probably not how I should have phrased it, but some people that come into our country, like a certain small, tiny percentage of them maybe are going to, be criminals or maybe, do harm to the community. But overall, immigration is a benefit for all of us. And I'm going to get more into why that is, because there's another stupid question on here that I'll talk about, where I can like dive deeper into it. But then one of the other things I want to bring up here is just like how leading these questions are. Like they're faking this as like a survey, and it's really just a tool to try and like get people to say certain things and then also donate money. Okay, like anyone that knows anything about taking a real like survey where you want to actually ascertain accurate information about, you know, something in order to understand and optimize it, knows that you need to keep your bias out, and all this is bias. It's trying to make you to check one box. And they'll say it's not because there's like, well, you can always check the other box. But that's BS, man. They're leading questions. So let's go on. What are your biggest concerns currently about the high level of illegal immigrants? Please check all that apply. So let's go through these. And this first one, I really want to talk about, because it's basically one of the, you know, biggest arguments people make against immigration, and it's a logical fallacy. So this is how it's worded. Illegal immigration means fewer jobs for U.S. citizens. That's an absolute logical fallacy, and here's why. That statement implies that there is one pool of jobs for everyone within this country that is static. It doesn't change. And that's false. There's not. As more people move to our country, they require goods and services, which require more jobs to service them by helping them with those goods and services. So if you're saying they took our job, they took our job. That's a logical fallacy. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it's just absolutely false. It's absolutely false. These people are helping our economy. They're creating jobs. All these politicians talk about creating jobs. You know who's creating jobs? Immigrants. They are. Because they require goods and services. It's just as simple as that. It like I don't know how people don't understand this. It's just logic. It's just truth. You know who's not creating jobs? Politicians. That's who's not creating jobs. All right. So let's go to the next checkbox. Unsecured borders threaten American sovereignty. That doesn't even make sense. What are you talking about? It doesn't, like, you know, sovereignty, like our ability to, like, you know, govern ourselves. How is it? It's already been shown that, like, you know, there wasn't, you know, Trump talked about how there's all these illegal immigrants that voted in the election, and it's been proven that that's false. Like, how are they, threatening our sovereignty? Like, and what is sovereignty to begin with? Like, this is the melting pot. You know, like, this is racist right here. Like, they're basically saying that they're threatening white people's ability to have control over this nation, I believe, is what they're trying to say with that comment. And it also is just, like, poorly worded, and it doesn't make sense, and I take offense to that. All right, let me go on to number 3. Allowing illegal immigration undermines the rule of law. This is the Rudy Giuliani broken windows theory, okay? And Rudy Giuliani is a terrible person. I've, you know, spoken about him in the past, and he is a complete hypocrite. He made his name off of prosecuting Nicky Barnes, the drug kingpin of Harlem, when he was the DA. He then gave him a lenient sentence for giving up people that were underneath him, and, you know, basically did that just because he wanted to get more press. and used that to become the mayor of New York. And then when he became the mayor of New York, yes, he cleaned it up, but he cleaned it up in what I would consider to be an unethical way. He completely stripped the city of its culture. It was a very racist minded kind of way of going about it. He literally had buildings knocked down where people weren't properly notified, and people had to run out of buildings while they were getting knocked down by wrecking balls. He is a piece of trash. And not only that, he made his name off of prosecuting a heroin dealer, and then he goes and turns around and represents the company that makes OxyContin and defends them. Because, oh, the horrors of opiates. But, that's how he made his name, and then it's like, all right, well, these guys, this is a pharmaceutical company, and like they're paying me a lot of money, so it's completely different. So he's a piece of human trash, and it doesn't undermine the rule of law, because here's the thing: it's too difficult, and it's a racist process to try and legally immigrate into this country. They, like I was saying before, with the buddy of mine who's from England, like they purposefully make it way harder for you to be able to legally immigrate into this country if you're a person of color, or if you're from a country that we don't like. I mean, no disrespect to any Canadians out there, but like if a Canadian comes across the border and starts living here and like applies for citizenship, it's gonna be like 100,000 times easier for them to actually get legal citizenship than it is for someone who's from Mexico, South America, Central America, or someone who's of color from a country that Trump deems as not waspy enough. All right, so that's the point about the undermines our law. Open borders allow illegal drugs into our nation and poison our communities. The war on drugs has failed. It's failed. You know why drugs come into this country? It's the basic principles of economics. It's supply and demand. There's a supply here, and people have the money. There's a demand. Like, it's not allowing legal drugs in. Like, you can't keep drugs out of a maximum security prison. The government can't, keep drugs out of maximum security prisons. So how are they supposed to keep them out of an entire country? That's just stupid, and it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, let's talk about how, our policies on firearm sales are allowing, people in Mexico should be saying, oh, America is with their, firearms policies. And again, I'm not against firearms. I own 13 guns. But Americans are, with their policies, are allowing guns to spill across the border into Mexico that the cartels then use to massacre our people. That's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. They're allowing. The word allow makes me mad. Because it's like, if anything allows it, and who's, no one talks about, allowing, like I was talking about with Rudy Giuliani, we're allowing the pharmaceutical companies to poison our people and become addicts. But it's not a bad thing, because their stock price is going to raise a few cents. Come on. You can, I don't know who buys into this stuff. I don't understand it. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody and insult their intelligence, but this makes no logical sense. Nothing on this piece of paper makes logical sense. All right. When illegal immigrants receive federal benefits that cost taxpayers money. Okay. Illegal immigrants are not receiving federal benefits for the most part. These people are scared about, doing anything on the radar because they will get kicked out of the country. Look at the statistics. 91% of people that receive any type of welfare are naturalized, born like white Americans. And these are the people that are buying into this crap. This. These are just lies. Like, why can't you see? Like, this is just lies. And, like, you can literally Google and find a reputable source and just, like, put together that this doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, let's go through. Illegal immigrants don't embrace the principles that make America great. How do you know what principles they embrace? Is this again like just going back to the thing that they undermine the rule of law? I mean, who from, how many people out there are not a son or daughter, of someone who is an immigrant from here? Because there's very few out there. There's very few out there. And again, like I was saying, economics shows that immigrants are a benefit to the economy. So immigrants are making America great. Immigrants are making America great. All right. Terrorists can exploit illegal immigration to infiltrate our country. What? What? How many incidents of this are there? How much domestic terrorism have we seen in the recent years? Why do you think that domestic terrorism is there? It's because of this type of stuff, where everything is so divisive that people think that it's a good idea to go into, historically Black Baptist church and shoot people up because they're all riled up about issues of race, which this is promoting. All right, let's go on to the next question. So this is a whole new question. Washington's special interest and establishment politicians are continuing to push amnesty for illegal aliens, even though Americans consistently speak out strongly for border security. So that's a statement. Here's the question. Are national and local news outlets that you watch reporting on this constant push for amnesty? They're just trying to paint a target at like what they call the liberal media, and I don't like the media like for the most part at all. Like both sides of it are wrong, and it sucks that it's so polarized. But this is why it gets so polarized. Okay, and honestly, I don't hear about people pushing for amnesty for illegal aliens that much in the media that I consume. Maybe you can say like I'm just not looking at the right sources that are trying to fearmonger me. But Americans consistently speak out strongly for border security. I mean, yeah, there are some that do, but I don't think that's an accurate statement. And like, there's no quantification to it. They don't say 38, 40, 86% of Americans believe that we need stronger border security. That shows you that their argument is BS, because if you can't back it up with stats, like if you like you can like make numbers say anything, even like it shouldn't be hard to manipulate stats to fool people, and they can't even do that. All right, so Heritage Analyst shows that the government would have to immediately raise taxes by 1.9 trillion to cover the cost of amnesty for illegal immigrants should Congress oppose amnesty. I mean, I'll just say no borders, and I'll just say like, look, this is the definition of bias. This is by Heritage Foundation, and they're saying right here that Heritage Foundation estimates that's how much they have to raise taxes. So that's like me saying, look, I don't want you to skateboard on the sidewalks. And I estimate that it cost the taxpayers $8.7 quadrillion a year for all the damage done by skateboarders on sidewalks. And I just made that up. That's exactly what they're doing. Why do people believe this? Alright, let's go to the next one. There are more than 500 sanctuary cities that refuse to help enforce immigration laws. And places like California and Illinois are now sanctuary states. This lawlessness has victimized innocent Americans by enabling American immigrants to commit thousands of crimes, including rape and murder. Would you like, that's the statement. Here's the question. Would you like to see federal funding withheld from communities? I can't even finish it because it's so retarded. I'm sorry for using the word retarded. I know that's not PC. I actually apologize about that. I'm trying to take a lot of words out of my vocabulary. But they've been victimized. Those states have been victimized. California's been victimized by the population of people that they need in order to support local farmers, to help them pick their crops. You know, they've been victimized. Again, there's a population, a small percentage of the population of immigrants who, sure, are violent criminals, and that's awful. But I mean, it's not like there's not a population of, it pales into comparison of the population of, naturalized American citizens that are violent criminals. It's just trying to be, racist against a certain group of people. And also, I mean, like I was saying before, it's saying that these communities have been victimized. And I will say, this is a fact. Like I've said it a bunch of times on this video. Immigrants are helping our country. That's just a fact. Immigrants help our country. They help grow our economy. So we're not being victimized by them. They're helping us. And I mean, again, they're saying about including rapes and murder. Notice that they don't give any figures. They won't say this percentage of illegal immigrants are, violent criminals, because they know the number, but it's extremely small, and they don't want to publicize it. They won't give a number of incidents because, they probably could, and it might seem like a lot, but then if, anyone who actually had a brain in their head went and looked it up, they'd realize that it's extremely small as a percentage of total crime. Alright, let's keep going. I'm getting heated. In 2016, liberals opened a floodgate of refugees from unstable countries. So here was the liberals, and again, I'm not liberal or conservative. I'm more libertarian. I'm an anarcho-capitalist actually. But this is what happened in 2016. The liberals took their hand and started turning on the valve, the floodgate of refugees from unstable countries. What does that mean? You don't think that people that come from countries that someone claims are unstable, which I don't even know what he means by that, you don't think that there's good people there? And they're refugees. I mean, he makes it sound like they're taking the warlords from, Somalia and, being like, all right, everyone from Somalia who's a warlord who steals oil tankers, let's go, we're coming into America. I just don't get this. I don't get it. These are people. Countries aren't real. Borders aren't real. We shouldn't put Americans first. We should care about people. Alright. There are 7 Middle Eastern nations that, before President Trump took office, were identified as conduits, and that just kind of pisses me off because my last name is Condit, and I got called conduit sometimes. But conduits for terrorists to they're conduits for terrorists to infiltrate the nation and plan their attacks. Do you agree that access from at-risk nations should be restricted? No, I do not. What about domestic terrorism? I mean, just look at it. Look at it in the numbers. You have so many people coming in this country that are like such a huge benefit for us and for the people. And there's very few that come in that want to do our country harm. And I mean, we've spent probably trillions of dollars building up the security complex, the NSA, all that stuff. It's like, do your fucking, sorry, I'm trying not to curse. Do your job. Just do your job. Like, I mean, let people in, and let's try and use this instead of like, screening for, people that say something negative about like, the Democratic or Republican Party. Like, let's actually like try and like open up the immigration process and use some of this huge distribution of wealth that came from partially my pocket to go into people invading my privacy, and let's just screen people but make it easier for them to get into the country. This is sad, man. This is just sad. I don't even know what to say. Like, all this stuff seems so clear to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. But I can't stand this stuff anymore. Like, because let's just call it what it is. It's racism. People don't like people that don't look like them, don't speak the same language. And you know what? I don't like those people. That's who that's who I'm racist against, is racist. So, this is just garbage, man. If you ever like have supported the Heritage, whatever it's called, the Heritage fake station, the Heritage, Klan outfit, then shame on you. Because I try and be diplomatic, because, I do a lot of work with kids. I try and, raise money for my charity, but I can't take this stuff anymore, man. And I'm just going to call it what it is. It's racism. Open up your mind, man. Think. To all my people out there that are like really resisting racism and trying to make real change, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much, and I love you. And I just want to say peace. But also, I just want to say that this is garbage. This is absolute garbage. And I can't believe this is where we are as a country.